let's settle down and get our guest speaker up here. This lady, whew, my goodness. I know she's coming hot. She's coming in hot from Lake Tahoe. I heard she was in Lake Tahoe. I heard she burnt the building down here. It was so incredible. They had to call the fire department out because she was just got going. She was on fire up there. Ladies and gentlemen, she takes care of her father. Just actually a community leader up the mountain there, up for Sacramento, and she's just doing some fantastic things. She made a commitment. She said, Miss Thomas, I'm going to start all over again, like I'm starting from scratch, and I'm gonna go all the way over. I'm gonna start all over again. I'm all in. And now they got meetings going up there, and man, they got some things happening in Sacramento. I'm gonna come up there and check them out. Without further ado, can we give a warm welcome to none other than Miss Keri Roeder, Regional Vice President.
Good morning. Good morning. I seriously need to have you just like walk ahead of me everywhere I go. Seriously. What a great way to start our Monday. Thank you, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Super excited to have this Monday morning. And as always, I always start our conversations off with thanking our Senior Vice President, Mr. Al Thomas. I'm telling you right now, for those of you who've seen me talk, you better know my saying by now, but for those, the saying is for those of you who are also new. Mr. Thomas is actually one of the most successful people, not just in ACM, but actually in the industry, and not just in our nation, but globally. Like seriously crazy, documented for his success and sought after for his wisdom. And so my saying is this: do not take him for granted. Take advantage of him. Use him as your biggest tool, whether you're working directly with him or you're working with a leader who works directly with him. All the rest of us do is follow his lead, and when you can follow his lead, you can find the success that it is you're looking for, because that is ultimately his goal. It's why he gives us all of his time, because he wants us to be able to have the quality of life that we all desire and that he's been able to lead for decades. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Thomas. I appreciate being on this call. And I apologize that I couldn't start May off with all of you last Monday, but you know, everything happens for a reason. The reason why I couldn't, I don't know if he told you, is I was actually, I sponsored a hole at a golf tournament, and I needed to be there, obviously, to then, you know, meet new people and exchange business contact information. But it turned out I didn't have a voice. And so here I was, you know, my lot of 5-foot self, all dressed up like a little golf girl and flip-flops. But anyway, trying to hand out, you know, and exchange information. And I had this raspy, mini moist sounding voice. But here's what I will tell you. I definitely made an impression, and I am going to be memorable for a lot of those people. So I have a story for you, Mr. Thomas, when we're not on a recorded call here. So anyway, but I didn't have a voice, and so I wouldn't have been able to do the call anyway, or at least sound normal. And then for those of us who are in Tahoe, I tried, Mr. Thomas, I tried to not talk for a whole day, right, so that I could train on Friday. Yeah. Sort of. I did good. For those of you in Tahoe, I did good. When I did talk, right, thank you, Manny. Like I whispered for the most part. And then like, I really, for me, I didn't talk for a day. And it was allowed me to have a voice for my training. But you know what's interesting? I told Renata, our Platinum Regional Vice President, Mrs. Renata Krumer, she was like, that was an amazing training. I said, you know, I wasn't me, because I didn't, one, we were short on time, and two, because I didn't have my entire voice. I wasn't able to be who I truly am when I usually train, and loud and passionate and all those things. So that's an interesting concept, that when you really think about what we do in ACN, you know, when we are, thank you, Dennis, when we are ourselves, when we can be truly organically who we are, then we can be impactful and powerful, and all of those things that God made us to be, right? And so this month of May, my conversation with us is basically about attraction, right? In that, what are we attracting? What are we doing? So today's theme is, are we living in abundance, or are you living in lack? So do you live in abundance, or do you live in lack? And I love timing of everything in that this book right here that you guys are going to do the summary on, right? So in the book, he talks about opulence. But there's something in my opinion, and which is funny, there's something in my opinion that Napoleon Hill missed, okay? He talks about, he says, you know, I demand, I attract and I demand opulence. One of the things, right? One of the things he says is, he doesn't say is that I have opulence. See, when we speak into the future, that means we don't have it. When we speak into the now, that means we have it. Whether you physically, tangibly have it now or not, when you live in the now. So my question to you is, do you live in abundance or do you live in lack? Now, I want to talk to you about some stories, right? But I also, as I tell stories and kind of have this conversation, in no means am I asking you to live outside of your financial means, okay? No, do not go spend money that you do not have per se, okay? So there's kind of a balance in what I'm going to say, but I don't want you to live outside your financial means. However, I have a feeling you could probably do more than what it is you're doing, and that'll make more sense when I tell my stories. But my question to you is this: do you attract money or do you repel money? Do you attract money or do you repel it? Do you attract success or do you repel it? Do you attract abundance or do you repel it? Or do you attract abundance in the wrong direction, right? So are you attracting what it is you seek or are you repelling it? So we're going to talk about money, okay? Are you attracting money? What are you doing? See, I believe in energy. Do you know that money is energy? Oh, shoot, I should have grabbed money. Wait, do I have money right here? I usually have money everywhere, but anyway. Are you attracting money? Oh, you know what's funny is I do. I have money right down there. Hold on, because I have money in my bag. Hold on, let me get money out of my bag. I want to know, are you, like I have money everywhere, like just random money in spots, okay? Are you attracting money or are you repelling money? Meaning, if money is made of energy and you're made of energy, right? And energy can attract or energy can repel, what are you doing? Are you attracting it or are you repelling it? Now, we talk about mindset a lot in these conversations, right? So if you can control your mind and you control your thinking about money, then you'll attract it. Now, some of you are like, but I don't have it. Okay, there you go. There's your problem. Live in the future. Mr. Al Thomas, in one of his dozens of amazing videos, he talks about building a building, building a structure. Okay, so go find that video on his YouTube channel. He talks about building a structure. See, when you go to build, let's just say a home, okay? Let's say, how many of us want to go build our custom mansion, right? Okay, let me ask you this then. Oh, Alyssa's over there. In my custom mansion, I have details, every single bit of details. Every room has an ensuite. You know, where my master bedroom is going to be above the garage and offset from, you know, where the party place, you know, happens, where all the entertaining and all that. And I want my guests to be able to have their own silence, right? And quiet from the entertaining, because when you come to my mansion, to my party, and there's 100 people in my living space, I want you to be able to tootle off to your bedroom and not hear us anymore. And dear God, I own the damn place. So I'm in my master bedroom. I don't want to hear you either. Okay. So, but I have, right? And then, oh, by the way, every room has a walk-in closet. Now, my walk-in closet, oh, dear God, you should see the list. It's pretty. I actually have pictures because, see, I started searching and I started looking at different walk-in closets and the design that I want. And of course, I'm 5 foot. And so it's going to be different than a tall person. So my question to you is y'all raised your hand. Have you started to design every little detail of your mansion? Like he talks about. See, before you can live in your mansion, you have to see your mansion here. And then you have to write out the detail. And then you have to go hire a designer, right? And then you and the designer are going to put the concepts together. And then you're going to work alongside, my brain just stopped, it's not an engineer, you know, whatever those people are called, right? And then they're gonna turn it into the CAD, right? God, brain, come on, it's Monday. but they're going to do that, right? And then once you kind of all work together and you have to visualize, you know, on this piece of paper, or now it's on computer and they can actually walk you through the rooms, right? Then you go to the planning department and you say, please, county or city in which I live in, will you please approve this monstrosity, right? Architect, thank you, right? So will you please approve this? And then they're going to say, well, you know, based on this, you need this plan and this plan, you need to pay this fine, and blah, 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 right? So then all these steps have to happen. Oh, by the way, you have to have bought the property. And then you have to hire a contractor. And then you break ground, right? So they bring all the equipment out, you know, you do the soil, right? You do the foundation going down, depending on how big your mansion is, right? You have to do all the work underneath. And then they do the concrete. So my point being is, before you can live in your home, you first have to build it here. So when we're talking about attracting money, if you don't have it right now, then that's your problem. See, you want to live in a house you're not willing to design. You want to live in a house you're not willing to put forth the effort in doing all of the steps necessary to live in that mansion. So be, do, have, right? Be opulence, be wealthy, have financial abundance in the positive direction, okay, in which it is you seek. And then do the work in which it takes, and then you'll have it. But when you live in the future, in the way of when we're attracting, that is how you attract. Okay, so a couple stories. How many of you have heard the saying, pick a penny, see a penny, pick it up all day long, you'll have good luck? I just totally aged myself right there, because these days people just pick a penny, right? So now, did you know that, or I heard that if it's tails are up, right, then it's not as good of luck as if heads are up, okay? So me, first of all, I don't pick up pennies or whatever, because that's disgusting and I'm a super germaphobe. But anyway, so for me, I'd go, oh, when it was tails down, I'm like, oh, okay, God, I hear you. And I would flip it over to heads up for the next person so they would have good luck. And then I'd walk on. Maybe pick up a quarter, but probably not, because I just don't like change. Anyway, but because it weighs your purse down more than dollar bills and 20s and all that. But anyway, so I was talking to somebody who is a coach, a business and life coach, and he does the same kind of concept that I like, which is energy and mindset and all that stuff. And when I was telling him that, he goes, really? He goes, huh. So Keri, if you know that money is energy, yeah. He goes, and you know your energy, yeah. And you tell the universe that you have opulence, yeah. He goes, you know what the universe says when you walk past that penny? Or flip it over for somebody else to have good luck? Oh no, where are you going with this? His name is Ed. He goes, universe says, I don't know whether that's a penny or $100 bill or a check for $1 million with a blank name. He goes, all the only thing the universe knows is you're walking by it. You don't need it. It's not yours. The universe is saying, hey, Keri, here's some money. And by you not picking up that money, you're telling the universe, it's not yours. You don't need it. You don't want it. I mean, it completely shifted my thinking. Completely shifted my thinking. And you know what? I met this guy through a networking event that I go to. And I said, hey, I want to get to know you more. Can we meet up and I can buy you a cup of coffee? That was the best $3 I've ever spent in my life right now. I'm telling you, it was amazing. And then the very next day, where I moved to, I live in this really great community, gated community with like a lake, golf course and everything. Anyway, so I thought, well, you know, what better exercise than walking in nature, right? Water, golf course, all that. So I tootle my little happy butt, you know, I start walking, right? And I'm listening to Mr. Thomas in my earbuds, right? And I happened to look down and I saw a quarter. So I picked up the quarter and I was like, thank you, universe, right? And as I put the quarter in my pocket, I said to the quarter and to the universe, you're going to add 10 zeros behind that. And then when I realized what 10 zeros behind 25 was, right, Kush? You get that, right? So that quarter is now in a little baggie. I should prepare for these calls better. Is in a little baggie with a magnet that I carry with me everywhere I go. because I am attracting I am magnetic. I am attracting. I am turning that freaking quarter into millions of dollars. Millions. I already have it. I already have it. It is mine. That is my money. That is mine. So then, that was Monday. So then, Monday, anyway, regardless. So then I get on a plane to go see my kiddo a couple weeks ago, right? So I'm flying out on a Thursday, and I was flying home the following Wednesday, so I was there a whole week. But my mom and my dad were going with me. They're elderly, so they were only going to fly on Thursday and then send them home on Saturday. Well, my nephew surprised me. They're like, he's my oldest nephew, and they're like siblings, and it's a big story. But he surprised me, and I offered to buy him a plane ticket, but he surprised me, and he got his own, and so he went too. So he was there Thursday through Saturday. So we get to the airport, and so I was like, it was noon, by the way, but I was like, hey, so I start all my flights off with a mimosa. Right? So we go into the bar. It might have been noon, maybe. I don't know. Whatever. It's a mimosa, right? So we go to the bar and order around for him and me, and one for my mom and not for my dad. So, we're drinking. So then my dad's elderly too. And so I said to my mom, my nephew and I ordered another one. My mom, I said, well, you better get down to the gate. We got to finish our mimosas, right? So, so the woman walks by, I whip out my credit card. She walks by, she comes back. So we get on the plane, and then we get there. And so then we go to my daughter's new apartment. Well, we took my parents by the beach house so they could see the beach house and the backyard and the ocean and all that. But I got her recently a 1-bedroom apartment so she could have some quiet time before she leaves Santa Barbara. And so then we go to the apartment. And so my daughter goes, well, I want Italian for dinner. Cool. Where are we going? So my daughter, I really want you to hear the stories, okay? And again, do not live outside your means. Please do not live outside your means. So, okay, where are we going? She goes, oh, Mom, there's this really great Italian spot, blah, blah. Well, a couple of her friends were at the apartment to say hi. And so they were going to go to dinner with us. I said, okay. So, multiple cars, blah, blah, blah. And so by the time I got into the Italian restaurant, it's a long story why I was late, but they had a private room. I was like, voila, da, right? And they're like, yeah, we know the bartender, we know the manager. I was like, okay, cool. So we go in and we just start ordering food. Who's hungry? What do you want? Da, da, da. Drinks and food. Da, da, da. And so at the bill came, and I was by the door, and the waitress, whatever, is my daughter's friend. So I go to hand her my credit card. My mom goes, no, we're splitting this. No, I've got it because she's my parents, right? And his parents would pay for everything, right? I was like, Mom, I go, there's 2 of you, and there's like, 2, 4, 5 of us over here. So anyway, so we agreed to split it. Yay. So that was cool though. Being able to be at dinner and take my parents, my daughter, my nephew, and her friends out to dinner and not have to worry about the menu, right? I was grateful my parents split it. That was awesome. So the next morning, we pick my parents are staying in a hotel. So my daughter, my nephew, and I pick my parents up, and we go to brunch. Same thing at brunch. Everybody's ordering what they want. Oh dear God, that 26-year-old boy, man, ordered like 4 meals. I was giggling. I was like, okay. Please don't think ill of me. We had more mimosas. It was lunch now. Anyway, but we're just having a good time, right? We're laughing. We're talking about childhood stories and just having a wonderful time. Well, the bill comes, and I hold my credit card up, and my dad beat me to the punch and grabbed the ticket, and he bought for everybody. But I happened to see the brunch lunch bill, and I was like, I'm all, Dad. He's like, nope, I got this. Okay, fine, right? You want to pay? Go for it, Dad. Well, after that meal, my daughter looks at me and says, I've been really wanting a seafood boil. Okay. And so, Joe's Crab Shack, that kind of thing, right? Where the seafood's in the bag and all that. Okay. I go, that's fine. I'm fine with that. And she's like, you okay with that, Mom? And I looked at her, I said, I'm more than okay with that, babe. I said, but you know how much that costs, and I'm willing for the 5 of us to go, but I'm not going to pay for your friends to go. Plus, I want one more meal with it just being us. She was like, no, totally. I'm not going to have you pay for my friends, because every time I'm there, they all call me Mama K. When I'm there, I buy the meals, right? And so she finds where we're going to go. So we go, we get there. And of course, everybody's just ordering, right? Somebody orders soup, and you're like, oh, wow, clam chowder. That sounds good. Next thing you know, it's like, okay, 4 clam chowders, right? So we're just ordering all these appetizers. We're ordering looking at the menu, and my daughter goes, "Oh, Mom, the crab I want, king crab, says market price." Okay, I go, "That's the one I'm getting." She's like, "Why don't they put the price? Why does it say market price?" I said, "Because it's what it costs for the day, or for that time frame." And my nephew's like, "Yeah, that means it's expensive." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm gonna get that one too." I'm like, "That's fine." And so my mom's like, "Yeah, that's the one I'm getting." And my dad, super, whatever. So I'm like, "Mom, let's just get him a calamari or whatever and share the crap." She's like, "Yeah, that's fine." So 4 market price king crab boil. Now, mind you, when you're in Sacramento, Joe's Crab Shack is like $60, right? $70. We're in Santa Barbara on State Street, right next to the ocean. And I'm thinking to myself, I guess $100 a thing, right? No big deal. So we're ordering all this food, blah, 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 blah. And my daughter, we're having this conversation about why they don't list market price. And I said, "Babe, because if it said the price on there, most people wouldn't order it." She said, but then do they ask?" I go, "Some people ask." "Yeah." I go, "Because some people need to know what it costs." I go, "Other people just go, that's what I want. Doesn't matter the cost. That's what I'm buying." I guarantee you that's what Mr. L. Thomas does. Market price is probably everywhere he eats. Okay. So, right? So we eat in abundance. It was amazing. It was great. We all loved our crab. It was, I mean, we had just food everywhere. There's 5 of us. You would have thought there was 15, but my 26-year-old nephew cleaned the table, so that was good. Anyway, as the kid was walking by, I handed him a credit card. He scooches off. He comes back. I go down to sign it. And as I look, I see the total. And I was like, okay. So I sign it. And my nephew sitting across from me and my daughter sitting here. My parents are over there. They both accidentally saw the total. And she goes, "Oh my God, Mom, I am so sorry." I go, "Why?" She goes, "I knew it was going to be expensive. I didn't know it was going to be that much." I'm like, "But you wanted seafood boil, babe. This is what you said you wanted." She's like, "I know, but I didn't know it was going to be this expensive." And my nephew goes, "Thank you, Auntie. I really appreciate it." I'm like, "Babe, absolutely. Thanks for surprising me and coming on this trip. This is amazing." My parents were talking amongst themselves. So I sign it and we get up to leave. And my mom goes, "Keri, we have to pay. What are you doing?" I'm all, and one of them said, "Mom already paid, or Auntie already paid." And my mom looks at me and she was kind of mad. She goes, "How much was it?" I go, "None of your business." She was like, "I wanted to pay, or at least pay a portion of it." I go, "Mom, thank you for coming here and seeing where my daughter's been living for, almost 2 years. And I appreciate it. I go, "Dad bought, or, whatever that was, brunch, lunch, or whatever." I'm all, "Mom, no." I go, "My daughter wanted seafood boil. So no, we're here because of what my daughter wanted, but thank you, Mom. No big deal." Right. So we walk out and their gratitude was amazing. And I started thinking about my quarter and I started thinking about the conversation that if money is energy and we're energy, do you live in abundance or do you live in lack? Please do not spend money outside of your means. That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. But let me ask you this. If you know that you're going to go out, right? You're going to go eat in a restaurant. Do you go there with a dollar amount in mind? And if it is a dollar amount in mind, maybe consider the restaurant you're going to. Would you go to a seafood boil knowing that you have $20? Would you go to Ruth's Chris, right? For those of you who've never been there, you buy your steak and then you buy your sides, right? If you have $20. Do you on occasion spoil yourself to say, "You know what? I'm going to save the money. I'm going to save," I'm making it up, $600. If you don't drink, it's a lot less expensive, by the way. But if you drink, right, if you're going to buy a bottle of wine, you got to add a lot of money to that. But do you save so that you can go out and have an experience where you tell the universe, "I am wealthy. I am opulence. I am all of the things you want to be." So that way, when you go sit down, you're not looking at the menu on the left and then going to the right. Right? Do you just look down the left side of the menu? Because if you don't, here's a little tip. If you want to do this, and I'll wrap it up. Whatever restaurant you want to do this at, go to that online now and look at the menu now, and go to the right and look at the prices. So start pre-planning, right? Start to pre-plan, and then add tax and tip. Don't forget about that, because we're going to talk about that in a second. Tax and tip, okay? But pre-plan. So if you want to go to a seafood boil and you are in an area that you know it's $65, right? But then maybe you want some appetizers, maybe you want some drinks. So then do your math, save that money, have it physically in your hands, and then schedule your date. And then when you go there, do not look on the left side of the menu. Just friggin' order. Tell the universe, I can have whatever I want, and order it, because you know that money is in your pocket. That money is in your pocket. And when the bill comes, whip out your cash, whip out your hundreds, right? And then look at it. And if it's 500, leave that person an excellent tip, an excellent tip. So I'll kind of wrap, and we'll talk about this more the rest of the month. But one of the things that I have really started paying attention to is everywhere I go that I can leave a tip, whether it's a quarter or whether it's $1 or $5 or $20. Put something in the Starbucks barista's little clear glass, square glass, right? Wherever you go, give a tip. Give a tip if you can. Give a tip if you can, because it's secular, right? So the more you give out the money, the more you tell the universe, I have it in abundance. So here, let me pass it on to those who need some too, right? The universe is going to go, I don't know how much you gave, but you're creating the emotion of money movement. And the universe is going to go, here you go, right back at you, babe. And then you're going to go, okay, somebody worked hard. Here's a tip for whatever, right? So it's the money is movement. So energy, right? So back to my question. Do you live in abundance or do you live in lack? And I don't mean your financial moment right now. I mean right here. Do you live in abundance or do you live in lack? Are you attracting or are you repelling out of fear? And that's what we're going to talk about next week. Are you repelling your success out of fear? Or are you attracting your abundance out of being significant, being who God designed you to be, which is magnificent? So if you're magnificent, then be magnetic too, and attract what it is you seek that you want. So that's what I have for today, Mr. Thomas. I, as always, so appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts and share my experiences and maybe have a little bit of impact along the way in somebody's life.